Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Honestly, if I was to be honest, I didn't expect to have so much subs and likes in my last video. I thank you all for your support. This is a What If Deku Was a Villain Part 2. Pray you'll have a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof. And so Izuku did, but instead of dying he got saved by the villains. Izuku is now known to the public as Deku. And for the past 2 years Deku has been the world's most dangerous and violent villain. But will one little kidnapping of a certain gravity quirk girl change his mind? This is my first story and it is an Izuocha story, and for some reason I like villaindeku x hero Ochako. Sorry if there is some spelling mistakes or errors in the story, or if the story is trash, please give me feedback. With that out of the way, let's begin this what if. Oh no, wait, I was joking about the whole expelled thing. I just wanted you all to go out, said Izuocha with a shit-eating grin. I swear he doesn't know how to smile. The whole class to freak out saying things like, how can you do that to us? Or really? Come on man. But a black ponytail said, you guys really didn't know that he was bluffing? Sorry Momo, but no, they didn't. You're the only one. Izuku sighed, happy that he didn't have to deal with an angry Shigaraki and sad that he didn't get his ticket out of this crappy school. Ochako was relieved that he didn't get expelled, yet. Hey! Black hair kid. That's right, she still doesn't know his name somehow. I honestly thought that Izuocha said his name during the tests, but I guess not. He turned around to face her. Oh, hey Uraraka. He said, a small smile on his face. Ochako stopped running and just stared at him. What? Deku said, confused by her action. Never mind. She said. Wait, did I do something? He said, pointing to himself. You smiled. She told him. She didn't want him to worry. He raised a brow. She has never seen me smile. She walks the rest of the way towards him, smiling as she does. I have never seen you smile. He smiled at her, still confused by the fact that she's never seen him smile. Okay, then I'll smile more. He stated. It wasn't a promise that he will smile forever, but he was okay saying this. You don't like to smiling or something? She didn't know anyone who didn't like to smile, so that was new to Ochako. Not really. To me there is not much to smile about. Izuku said, okay with telling her this as they continue walking through the alleyway. What human being is going to be in the alley with them? Izuku leans against the wall, Ochako leans against the wall across from him. Why would you think that? There's plenty to smile about. Ochako said cheery with concern. Yeah, like what? Izuku said while looking at his side. A sudden realization hit Ochako, it was 4:40, she needed to get home. Oh, would you look at the time? Ochako yelled out. Looking at her watch. Izuku stared at her while plainly replying, I don't want to, and besides, I don't have a watch. Well, the point is that I have to go home. She shot back. But to give you something to smile about, think about your one and only friend. Ochako seemed really happy to be his friend, even though he was cold towards his classmates. Izuku widens his eyes at her statement. Her friend? He didn't know much about friends, so he might not really remember how friends are. Hanging out and other sorts of friend activity were foreign to him. Friends? The green hair said, confused beyond belief. Oh, and I still don't know your name. What's your name? He was stumped. This was a lot to take in. First she says she's his friend, and now she wants to know his name. Do you not have a name? I each have a name. Izuku says while stuttering. You can call me Yamakumo, I guess. He says quietly. Okay, see you tomorrow Yami. She yells out, waving as she runs home, and Izuku did something he hasn't done since he first became a villain. He slowly raises his arm a little and waves back. Her words rang in his head, your one and only friend. Maybe, we can be friends. After the conversation between Izuku and Ochako, both headed home and rested. Now changing someone's mindset isn't as easy as just a little speech. It takes so much more. So when Shigaraki saved and talked to Izuku, he wasn't convinced that easily. Izuku agreed to be a part of the group, thinking that they were the only ones who believed in him, so arguably he would side with people who wouldn't harm him. Except for his mom. He still wanted to be with her, but anyone with an idea of what villain work is shouldn't get tied up with that, just as his mother. Flashback. After Izuku joined the group, he knew nothing about anything. He wasn't strong, so he couldn't fight or kill anyone. But it turns out that they don't want him to kill anyone right off the bat. At first they were just using his hero analysis. His work was to gather as much knowledge on every hero they request, and get as much information he could gain from them. When he was done, he would return the analyses. Soon enough, he began making battle plans for them. We want to kill All Might. Do you have any plans for that? Shigaraki asked. Let me think about it. Izuku began thinking, flipping to a clear page and began writing while muttering. That little request made him begin thinking long and hard about how to end All Might. Izuku recalled the little secret between him and All Might. Yeah, that is your end, All Might. First, he'll ruin his reputation. Then he'll ruin him. But when? After rediscovering All Might's wound, Izuku remembered how All Might told him he couldn't be a quirkless hero. Then saving Kaken. Then the jump. It fuels his hatred for heroes. If All Might's fake, then they're all fake. By this time, Izuku had a plan. Just not when and where, but acknowledging the fact that he doesn't know when and where he gets an idea. Wreck them all, wait for All Might, then wear him out. After All Might wears out, he will change back. That is when you strike, because he can't defend himself anymore. Izuku walks down to the bar and shows the plan to the gang. They all accepted the plan, but they were going to wait to attack for some reason. In that time of waiting, Izuku got promoted to hitman. Anyone the villains want him to kill, he goes after them. He didn't want to kill before he joined, he was actually going to request no killing. But he didn't because he thought that they would only use him for hero analysis only. But he was wrong. Midoriya didn't just get labeled a hitman and have anyone do anything about it. They trained him, of course. If he didn't get trained, then he would have gotten caught on the spot. One day, before Izuku became a hitman, he was walking into the alley of the hideout, when he heard someone calling his name. Hey! What you know? It's the quirkless freak, said a lowlife middle schooler. Izuku sighed and turned around. He saw that it was one of Kaken's friends, the one with the long fingers. I'm really not in the mood, thought Izuku. He would say that out loud if he had the guts to. Fingers laughed a little and walked up to Izuku. What's with the face? Trying to get ballsy, are you? He walks closer to him. Now, if hitmen get caught, then they resort to fighting, or they just run away, and how to trap your enemy and kill them. Izuku walked back and up against the wall. Yeah, that's what I thought. Fingers laughed. You are nothing and don't ever think you are. He pushed Izuku up against the wall that he was already on. Izuku puts his head down, hair blocking his eyes. Fingers laughed, talking shit to him while shoving him further against the wall. The more Fingers talked shit and shoved Izuku, the more Izuku's anger got fueled. The next thing he knew, Fingers was dead. Izuku's training kicked in and he ended up ending the life of Fingers. Izuku stared as the blood and abdomens of his victim were all over the ground. The cries of Fingers pleading for Izuku to stop and not kill him were still ringing in Izuku's head. Ha, you still want to shit? Still want to call me worthless? I may be quirkless, but that doesn't mean I am a deku. Izuku wasn't as comfortable with the body before him, but he liked how he finally showed someone who's boss. He might be ready to be an assassin right about now. With Katsuki, after Deku kills his supposed friend, Katsuki walks by the same alley, but stops once he sees the blood and body out of the corner of his eye. What the FCK? Katsuki walks up to the body and crouches down to see if he knew the person. And sure enough, he knew him. Fingers. Katsuki furrows his eyebrows and calls the police. Once the police got there, they started to investigate. Hey, what lowlife killed Fingers? Have you figured it out yet? Katsuki wouldn't show it, but he did care about his friend. Katsuki soon went home and thought about his friend's death. Katsuki has a lot to think about, like why Deku has started acting weird. Stupid Deku, I don't care anymore. Act like Sich. Bakugo couldn't wrap his head around it, but that black-haired kid looked familiar. His black hair? No. His eyes? No. His freckles? No. Yes. That's it. But why are they familiar? That's when it clicked in Katsuki's mind. Those were the placing of Deku's freckles. Third POV, like normally, everyone went to school. When Izuku entered the room, Kaken stared at Deku as he went to his seat. Right when Izuku sat down, Kaken immediately turned around to yell and expose Deku's identity. DKU. Katsuki yelled. HM. He couldn't know. He can't know. No. Shut up, Kaken. Izuku thought, fearful towards where this would lead him to. Aside from Katsuki, he was scared that everyone would know his identity. At this moment, everyone is looking at Izuku and Katsuki. I know it's you, Deku. Yelled Katsuki, his eyes close to tears. Hold up, you're saying that this dude is Deku? Kirishima said, pointing at Izuku. The #1 villain? In a hero school? He doesn't even look like Deku. Denki said, laughing at the scene unfolding. Shut up. All of you. DKU. Why? Why the FCK did you side with those stupid villains, DKU? I thought you wanted to be a hero. Tears began to fall from his face. The sight being something Izuku never thought he would see. I don't know what you're talking about, dude, but I'm not Deku. Izuku calmly exclaims. The whole class is just staring at the whole scene. No words to be said. Stop F-king lying, Deku, and just admit it. Izuku had the same freckle placing that you have. Izuku had the same eyes, and I promise you that you are somehow your eye color. He had the same voice as you. He is you. His voice cracked after every word. He slams his hand on Izuku's desk after every sentence. Dude, me and who did you say? Izuku? I don't know. But we just might be identical strangers. Mikumo puts his hands up in defense. Oh really? Then what's your SHTTY name? Katsuki calms down a little, but still not convinced that this stranger wasn't Deku. Ochako silently watches as her first theory about him being the villain Deku is now getting investigated. Izuku stares at Katsuki for a minute, no response coming out of his mouth. You don't have an answer for that, do you? Is it because you're Deku? Scowls Katsuki. You guys are the same. You're quirkless, ain't you? Yelled Katsuki. Yeah, I'm quirkless, but my name is not Deku, nor is it Izuku. It's Mikumo. Izuku is not the only one in this world who's quirkless. Izuku replied back, trying desperately to escape this situation without revealing he is Deku. That stutter sounded a lot like how Deku used to stutter. In the same wimpy voice. SHT. Izuku thought, cursing himself for stuttering. The students in the classroom like Kirishima, Kaminari, and Momo got their quirks ready and activated. If I was Deku, what would I be doing in a hero school? Mikumo asked. Well, that's easy, you want information on future heroes so you could easily take them down. Kirishima answers. But he was wrong, and it wasn't a bad guess. Izuku always kept a pocket knife on him just in case. I swear on my life, I'm not Deku. Izuku begs. Half of him didn't want to get kicked out and have to deal with a pissed-off Shigaraki. But he always had a plan B on this plan, if plan A went wrong. And right now, he's gonna have to use plan B. Deku, what the FCK? Katsuki is at for words, now finding out that yesterday, the strange kid, was the kid that was missing for 2 years. Well, they saw him a few times, but never caught him. Do you know how sad your mom was when she didn't know where you were for the past 2 years? Only to find out that you re-AF king villain now. Kaken is trying, but failing, to make a point. Deku immediately gets up out of his chair. What a crappy way to start off the day. The class, minus Uraraka, tries to trap him, but fails. He sprints out of the classroom, with the class chasing him. I don't get it, how can he be Deku? He was so nice to me. Ochako thought, tears ready to fall. No, a few tears escaped out of her eyes. She walks out of the classroom to see class chasing Deku down the hallway. Goodbye, Yami. Izuku got to one of the doors that is labeled, Teacher's Lounge. Yes, that's where he was supposed to run to. That's plan B. Without a second thought, he yanked the door open and ran in. Slamming the door shut, he looks around the room, seeing no teachers in sight. He hears the class banging on the door, trying to break in. He runs to the desks that were in there and proceeds to look for the paper plan. Izuku finds a paper that had information on it. Tomorrow they're supposed to go to the USJ. Luckily for him, he has a plan for that already. The class breaks through the door, but Izuku wasn't in there. The window was revealed to be open. You're saying that Mikumo was Deku? The most feared villain? Aizawa asked in a monotone voice. Not really surprised, he suspected something was up with him. Yes. He ran into the teacher's lounge then jumped out the window. Kirishima yells. Aizawa gets up and walks to the teacher's lounge. The class follows him. They make it into the teacher's lounge and investigate it. Aizawa looks through the papers. Get to class, I need to attend a meeting. Aizawa shoos the class away. Back at the hideout, you're home early. Kurojiri says, cleaning a glass. I got expelled. Izuku plainly says. You got expelled? How? Shigaraki asks. Well, in short, Kaken's a douche that doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. Izuku looks off to the side, looking for a reason on how he's going to calm Shigaraki. Then he remembered his paper. He's going to be the new #1 on my list. Izuku vows. Growling, damn it. How are we going to get information on how we are going to kill All Might now? Shigaraki said furiously, scratching his neck. Izuku walks up to Shigaraki and gives him the papers. This is how and where. But first, what happened to the original plan? Izuku asks, raising an eyebrow. Shigaraki stops stretching his neck, takes the papers, and reads them. Yes, the USJ huh? Shigaraki looks up to Izuku. Yeah, they're going to go to the USJ tomorrow. If we go, we might have a way to defeat All Might. If we stick to the original, that is. Izuku smiles, immediately remembering what Ochako said yesterday. Friends, time skipped to the next day. The class arrived at the USJ. 13 appears to be over there and begins to start listing rules and stuff. Meanwhile, the League of Villains are gathering a bunch of villains. Sometime later, a purple and black portal pops out of nowhere in front of all the students and teachers. Hey, did the training already start? Asked Kirishima. Pointing at the portal. Everyone get back. Those are real villains. 13 and Aizawa warn the kids and push them back. Everyone gets back and gets ready to fight. Shigaraki walks out the portal along with the rest of his crew. Would you look at that, the kids and heroes are ready to fight. Shigaraki exclaims with his hands behind his back. Yeah, where's All Might? Deku replies, looking around All Might. It appears that he is not here. Kurojiri answers. Well dang. Deku raises his eyebrows. Well, I have an idea, we just have to finish off his students until he shows up. Shigaraki begins to scratch his neck. No you won't. Aizawa yells. Moments later the students all split up, the group of villains helping the League of Villains all split up too. It was only Deku alone in the middle of all the chaos. Oh wait, Shigaraki is with him in the middle. Soon all the students found their way back with their teacher, but when they got back there, Izuocha was beaten harshly by a giant thing called a gnomo. Most of the students were in the middle, trying to save their teacher. The students that weren't there were either hiding or still stuck fighting off villains. Todoroki roasted the villains that he fought in 2 different ways. Kirishima and Bakugo fought their villains, Tsuyu, Mineta, and Shinso, who was added after Mikumo turned out to be a villain, hopped to land. Currently, they were watching Izuocha get beat up. Bakugo, Kirishima and Todoroki tried to save him. Todoroki summons his flames and jumps to Shigaraki because he was about to disintegrate Izuocha out of existence. Bakugo summons his explosions and jumps over to Shigaraki. Kirishima hardens his body and also jumps over to Shigaraki. Izuku however noticed this and took a knife out of his pocket. He watched them look for an opening to where he can stop the 3 of them. Deku jumps up and throws 2 knives at Bakugo and Todoroki, and jumps at Kirishima. Kirishima's quirk turns his body into basically a rock, so throwing a knife at Ijiro was pointless as the knife would just bounce off of his body. Deku knew that, so the only logical approach would be to just go toe-to-toe with him and hope that his quirk would die out so that he could get the upper hand against him. That is it for this part. If you like this series and want to see more of it, please like and subscribe to see more what if videos. I actually plan to make a better quality video by next week. But I'll see you all in the next video.